Let's get this handheld extended out, figure out some problems along the way on another test drive, and then talk about all the little things that we're working on here. Let's get into this one.
Okay guys, so I went ahead and I bought the extension cable for the unit to bring the handheld up into the cab. The issue is the extension cable it's a cable, but this side can plug in. This is the end of the handheld, and these are the ends of the extension cable. So the problem is that one side of the extension cable can plug into the sniper unit, but the other side cannot plug into the plug of the handheld. So it looks like I spent 60 bucks for a cable that I still have to cut and cut this one and still solder it all together so I have a full extension cable. So that's kind of misleading, I'll be honest, on the Holley website that says it's an extension cable, when in actuality it'll extend the cables, but you just can't plug them in. So I'm going to start cutting and soldering, and then I'll wire loom all this and then run it up into the cab. So let's get that done.
Alrighty, so we have it spliced in and wire loomed. So now let's start running it. Yeah, here we go. So I've got the grommet in place. I wanted to go with like the stock looking grommet, so I did order a grommet that would normally come on the trucks in the firewall, which would normally be up there. So I've got one here, wire loomed up all the way back. So let's go to the back. It runs in the frame rail, up, goes back through, and then comes right in and then attaches right there. All right guys, we're gonna drive it around the block, maybe see what's going on here. Yeah, let's see. Sorry, that's as close as I can get you with the handheld. My son's in the middle of doing something, so yeah. So let's give this a whirl, I guess. turn on that AC. Let me open up the gate. Brakes are hanging up. That's new. Not bad. Let's shut her off. Well, here we go. So after that little outro, I said, oh, let me drive around the block again. Yeah, I almost didn't make it back because these rear tires locked up on me. So yeah. So I'm going to pull this all apart, see what's going on back here, and real life stuff. These rear tires were smoking. The brakes were smoking coming through. I couldn't go more than, luckily it just happened on this side street back here. I went out, and then on that side street, it just like stopped. I'm like, really? Put it in reverse, kind of release. I don't know what's going on. So we're gonna see what's going on. It's the e-brake. Okay. That would explain it. Look at that. Alright, so it's this little 8mm that holds it on. open up the master cylinder. You should always open up the master cylinder cap. When you open up I'm going to be opening up the brake pads. If you don't open up the master cylinder, you could blow out a seal somewhere. So let me lower it down, open it up, put it back up. Alright guys, so it's midweek. I changed out the brake hose back here. I don't think the brake hose collapsed, but as soon as I released the valve, or the check valve, or the bleeder, the caliper opened right up for me, so I could slide it on. So I went ahead and replaced the brake line anyway. It's like 23 bucks, so I replaced the brake line, and now I'm going to be bleeding the brakes. Basically, I'm going to do all four corners, but I'm going to show you on the one because I got this cool. It's called an Aries vacuum brake fluid bleeder. So yeah, so that's what I got. Doing it by myself, I kind of need a tool like this anyway. So I think it was like 40 bucks. So let me put it on here and I'll show you how it goes here. This is one that works with air compressor. You plug it into the end, you pull the trigger, and it starts sucking out the air and all that, and then you got to keep your eye out front to make sure that the master doesn't drain. So here we go. So I decided to put a hole in the tilt bed, so when I'm at the gas station I don't have to keep raising it up, lowering it down, just in case there's a failure with the remote, whatever. So I picked up one of these. It's like a Jeep one. Got a cool little opening. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to start cutting it down to get that more straight. So, and then pop a hole in there and bolt it down. So here we go. Alright guys, so there it is all installed. So now you just lift it up. And there it is. There you go. You can fill it right up. I'm probably going to bring this up so it's more like right here versus way down there. I don't know. I mean, that works. Yeah, because you can just lift it up from there and spin it. The bed can still go up and down if I ever need to maintenance anything underneath there. It's just that what prompted me to do this was when I hit the remote to raise up the bed, the little wireless remote box underneath here, it just stopped working. And then I thought to myself, you know what, that would really suck if I'm at the gas station and I can't open up the bed to put gas in. So that's why this is in there. Yep. So now let me show you this other modification that I made for the battery stuff. Okay guys, so another reason why I did the gas tank filler neck back there is because the little wireless remote box underneath to run that actuator up and down on the bed actually is a draw. So it has a little bit of it actually has quite a significant draw on the battery just sitting there, because I guess it needs to be always on or something for the remote to work. So that's another reason why I'm going to put in a switch. So I'm probably going to put the switch like right up in here. It's going to be a waterproof switch, or I'm going to run the switch inside the cab right next to the hood switch up underneath the dash, and eliminate that wireless stuff altogether. So with that being said, the sniper unit requires no less than 12.3 or 13.2 volts to not really retain the memory, but just it likes it better. The environment of that voltage is what it needs. So after a week it sat, and when I fired it up, it kind of like, it didn't lose its programming that I set it up, but it kind of did. Hold on a second, let me get this on a tripod. There we go. So it kind of like dipped down to like 10.1 when it tried to fire up. So that's why I had to rerun the wizard, reset the IAC last week, and then so given that it had a draw down to 10.1, I went out and I purchased off Amazon the Norco Genius 1, which is basically a 1 amp trickle charge. And then I had to extend the cable so it would actually reach from the outlet, which is right there, to the actual unit. Back over here again off the tripod, back here. So these actually have little leads that you can unbolt, and then this will be permanently attached here, so I can just plug it in just to maintain the constant voltage that the battery requires. So I got that hooked up. She's green, so let's fire it up and see how it works now. Let me get the keys. So here we go. Let me unhook that trickle charger real quick. I'll turn it off. So this does 12 volts AMG, and then 12 volts lithium ion, and it also does 6 volt. So anyway, so let me turn it off. So I just turned the unit off. Alright, so now let's try this. does look like I'm going to have to redo the Wizard one more time, reset the IAC, and go from there. So I need it to get up into temperature range, so it'll learn, and then we'll try it again. Alright guys, so I got the IAC back set down. We're in learning mode, so let's turn it off and see how it does. You guys are probably getting tired of me just firing it up and doing this, but this is all part of the project. Turn it on the on position, let it boot. Let's see. Nope, still having an issue with the start. What? I'm okay with that. I need to let it learn a little bit here. So yeah, let's talk about what I've been doing over the last week or so. Alright guys, so over the last week I think I fixed the brake issue in the back. I replaced the hose, I bled it with that suction machine. And I'm kind of old school, so I did get my son out here to pump up the brakes, and then I did all four corners, all the air's out of the system. I'm still having a problem with one of the banjo bolt washers on this passenger side. I don't know if it's leaking or not. I cleaned it all up, tightened it down, and I saw a drip underneath this morning when I came out and looked. I don't know if it was there residual from when I was bleeding the brakes when my son was pumping it up. So I'm going to give it overnight, and then I'm going to check that again. So the rear brakes, I think I got that figured out and solved. Gas cap put in the bed because of a malfunction in the remote thing. Working out the bugs with this project. Then connected the trickle charger to it to maintain a constant voltage level for the sniper unit because of what it requires to start. If you noticed on the video there, or just a second ago, when I was firing it up, the voltage dipped down into the yellow, and it went down to like 10.8, and then it was hard to fire up. Well, that's when it dips any kind of like colors, like red or yellow. It means that, hey, I don't like this, here's your attention grabber, can we fix this to make it work better? So that's why it kind of has a minute to fire up. I know that it still has to learn, like I have to drive it so it can start learning. I do have a gentleman in Kissimmee, Florida, up near Orlando area, that said that he would definitely remote tune this, if not possibly come and tune it. I don't have a laptop per se to do that kind of stuff, and honestly I'm not well versed at working on any kind of like tuning software or whatever. So I'm probably going to get a hold of him once I take it out and drive it around a little bit more around the neighborhood. That brings me up to another issue that I'm having with the truck. So power steering rack, I replaced it with a brand new one 6-7 months ago, and when I lifted it up to do the rear brakes, I saw a puddle of power steering fluid in the front there. So the power steering rack, it's a sealed unit. My fittings, my hoses, my lines, none of that is leaking, but there's like this little piece on the bottom that has like a sealed nut. It's not really a cap you can take off, it's pressed fit in there. Well, it's leaking right around there. So before I drive it anymore, I ordered a new power steering rack. That should be in here hopefully in a couple days. So before I drive it, I want to change out the power steering rack, just because. I mean, it's how I am. So with all that being said, I also had a metal scrap guy come out here and pull a bunch of metal sitting out back, because the frame for this and the engine is sitting out back of our property, and also the S10 cab from the chassis for my blue 1950 truck was still sitting out back, and wifey was wondering if we could just get it out of here because she really wants to utilize the backyard a little bit better, and with these two big old eyesores out there, that's a problem. I totally agree. It's been 2 years trying to get that cab off my property, but no one seems to want to take it, and this guy was like, hell yeah, I'll come take it. So he came, we loaded it up. It took a couple hours to get it from the back to the front, and then we just kind of scavenged around and pulled a bunch of metal stuff up, and this was basically his truck and trailer just before he left. And this is what we have now in the backyard, is this. And then he volunteered to be more than welcome to come out with a sawzall of some sort and cut up the old chassis for the big orange here. So we're kind of scheduled. I also have like some old 4.3 engines sitting out back, 3 of them, and he's more than welcome to come take that. He wasn't quite prepared for the amount of stuff that I had, even though I said, yeah, I got a bunch of metal and the cab, and he goes, all right, I'll be there. And he was, and the guy is awesome. Like, really, he showed up and he came and took all my metal, that, or most of the metal that I had ready to go in 2 days notice that he was going to come out here. So yeah, so he's going to be out probably a couple more times to pull more metal off the property, because there's a lot of stuff that we want to do landscaping wise in the back, because my wife is a personal trainer / yoga instructor, and she really wants to utilize backyard basically a little bit more than what it is. So hold on a second. You know what? I'll just give you a little bit more personal stuff on my life. I'll show you what our backyard looks like. So this is our backyard. So what we have is that shed right there is a fully converted yoga shed. So it's fully insulated, powered up, AC unit, the whole 9 yards. So that's where she trains her Kundalini yoga, is out of there. And then between this, the yoga shed, and this is her gym. So inside here is full of all her workout equipment. It's a gym is what it is. And then right there between the 2 sheds in the back here that's a whole outdoor bathroom and shower that we ended up putting up in there for her clients and what have you, like that. So the frames and stuff are back on the other side of this shed over here. So she wants to utilize this entire backyard over here for more of her events, because she does hold monthly events or sometimes a whole full week retreats and stuff like that. And we do own all this back here. We cannot do anything with all this back here because it's all protected cypress. So we have probably a little over an acre of land here, and probably a quarter of it, if not a little bit more of a quarter of it, is just protected cypress. So that's good for us because no one can never put anything behind us, right? So we kind of have this little area right here, and then on the back of the garage over here is our septic. Yeah, so she wants to utilize all this whole space a little bit better. So we want to plant some more trees and stuff like that back there. So that's a little bit of personal space that we have going on back there besides just my garage. So that's our backyard, and that's her space. So I think I'm going to call it a weekend and go out there and start cleaning up where all this metal stuff came out of, because it's kind of overgrown, of course. So I'm gonna go out there and clean it all up. Right now she is in Miami doing a yoga training thing. Basically she's teaching teachers how to teach yoga. So that's where she's at right now. So I'm gonna clean all that up so when she gets home in the next couple days, it'll all be uber awesome, so we can do some more landscaping projects that we got going on. So yep, that's about it. You know, I really appreciate you guys. These videos are starting to get a little scattered. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm doing this and that's the whole video. Right now we're down to the last 10%, which is like the most intensive 10% of the project, because one, you don't really see a lot of like progress. You know, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna build the bed, and then, oh my God, look at that bed, it's so awesome, it's on there, wow, that's really cool. Now it's like, let's work out the bugs and drive it a lot, and oh man, my lift gate decided to take a dump, so I got to figure that out. So that's that. Oh, my rear brakes decided to lock up. Oh, let's see what's going on. Power steering rack decided to start leaking, a brand new one at that. So this is pretty much where we're at with this. I'm going to try to keep putting out videos every week, but at this point I think it's going to be every 2 weeks, just so I have enough content to be able to put something cohesively together for you to watch. I mean, really, last weekend I did a little bit of this weekend I did a little bit of that, and now we have one video that's worth watching, I feel, anyway. So I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and continuing to watch the build. So yeah, hit like, share, subscribe, all that other fun stuff they tell you at the end of the video, and definitely go out and build something cool. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.